The post is the core substance of all blogs and also serves as a great tool to provide updates and news items for websites. WordPress is built around the post and has over the years perfected the science of making post writing as easy as possible for the user. Most of the core functionality found in a post can also be found in a page. Therefore, there's a large overlap in terms of how things work, which for the user means less time wasted trying to figure things out and more time spent writing great material for the web. You can create a new post several different ways, both from within the WordPress backend and also from the WordPress.com toolbar. If we go here to the top, under My Account, you'll see there's this button called New Quick Press Post. And if we click on it, you get to this page within WordPress.com that's called Quick Press. From here, you can write a basic post with a title, some content, and tags, and then assign it to the blog you want to assign it to. This is, of course, assuming you have several blogs assigned to your account. I never used this function, and it's quite simple. It's because there's a lot of functionality missing here. You don't have categories. You can't really do anything about when it's posted and how it appears. You'll also find Quick Press under My Blog and Dashboard on the dashboard itself, right here on top. But again, I never use this function. Instead, you should use either this New Post button up at the top, or under My Blog, select New Post, or you can go to Posts on the sidebar and select Add New. All of these will take you to the Add New Post page within the WordPress admin panel, and this is where you create your post. Like it says, enter title here, this is where you would enter the title of the new post. And once you do and click somewhere else, WordPress will generate a URL for this post right off the bat. You can edit that URL if you want to by clicking Edit and change the last part. But you'll notice that WordPress assigns this based on the date it was published. So 2010-09-28, which is today's date. In general, the title will be the same thing as your URL. Directly below, you have the area in which you type out your post. This area works like a standard word processor. So you type things out, you can make things bold and italicized, and a lot of other things. We'll get back to that later in this chapter. Once you're done writing your post, you want to either publish it or save it as a draft. This is done in the Publish panel up here in the corner. As you can see, you have the option of saving as a draft, previewing, or publishing it directly, or you can also move it to trash. The good thing about all of these functions is that whatever you do, you can always change it. So even if you move it to trash, you can retrieve it later. Or if you save it as a draft, you can publish it later. You can also schedule it if you want to, but all of this will be covered later in the chapter. For now, let's save it as a draft, and then click Preview. Now you'll see what this post looks like on the website, even though it's not actually live on the website. That way you can type out a post, add pictures or video or whatever you want, and make sure it appears the way you want it to before it actually appears for other people to see. If we go back into the admin panel, as we saw in an earlier video, you can reorganize this whole panel and only display the items you want. We can go to Screen Options and turn things on and off. For instance, if I don't want post tags as an option, I can simply turn it off. Same thing with categories, although I wouldn't recommend it. And I can also reorganize the panels themselves. So if we scroll down here and I say, I want the excerpt to appear before the discussion item, I can simply grab excerpt and move it up. This will now be saved by WordPress, so the next time I come into a post edit panel, this new organization will be how I see it. This makes it much easier for me to work with the posts, and it kind of customizes it for the way I used to work with it. In addition to this WYSIWYG editor, or what you see is what you get editor, in which you'll see the text and images sort of the way they will appear on the web, you also have this other tab called HTML, where you will see the HTML version of this content. That means the code-only version of the content. The best way to see how that works is to attach some styling to some of our content. So I'll go back to Visual, highlight the word Content, and click on the bold button. This makes the text bold in the WYSIWYG editor, and when I go to HTML, you'll see it's wrapped in this strong and end strong tag that contains it. The HTML function is a more advanced function, but at the same time, it gives you way more control when you want to edit things. And it's a good way of learning how HTML works, so that as you use WordPress, you'll become more proficient at web design and web code as well. Finally, you can resize the edit window if you want to. If you go to Visual and scroll down, you'll see there are these scragglies on the bottom of the corner here. You can grab that and resize the window to the size you want. However, you can only do this in Visual. If you go to HTML, you'll see that those scragglies disappear, so you can't resize it here. That means if you want to resize it, you have to always go to Visual. If you sit in HTML and try to do it, it just won't work. You'll drive yourself crazy. I have. Knowing how to quickly start a new post for your site is going to save you a lot of time and effort. One of the key components of running a successful website these days is to keep it fresh and current, and WordPress makes every effort to make that happen for you. Add to that, you can even customize the post interface to make it easier for you to use. It all adds up to you being able to produce and publish great web content faster.